Hey guys, welcome back to another story time with Chrissy, where I'm going to be explaining my experience with DMT. But before we get started, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, I think below or there, up above. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be in there. Go hit it. Also, this episode is sponsored by Adult Swim, the creators of my favorite TV show, Rick and Morty. So make sure to tune in tonight at 11:30 East Central Time so you can watch the new episode. All right, let's dig in. So this experience happened my freshman year of college, and boy was I a fun girl. Social butterfly, all around, just having a good time, ready to go do whatever. So when my roommate Paige was like, "Hey, want to come home? Want to go to this fair with me?" I was like, "Let's go." So anyway, pack up the car, we drive down, we get to this fair, and at the fair we end up meeting her ex Nick. And his friends Diego, James, and Patrick. We were having a good time, just hanging around, chilling, and then Nick, he was like, "Hey, you guys want to come back to my place to smoke?" And I was like, "Hey, let's go." And Paige was like, "Yeah, totally, sure, whatever." So anyway, we left the fair, we ended up going back to Nick's place, and when we walk in, Nick was sitting on the couch with his now girlfriend, Grace, which was a disappointment to Paige, my roommate, because she still had a crush on Nick, and that just wasn't a really good time, but she was happy to be there to smoke. So we're sitting there smoking, drinking, talking, having a good time. Nick and Grace were sitting here on the couch, and then myself, Patrick, James, Diego, and Paige, we were all sitting at the table, just talking. And after a while, I think it was around 2 a.m.-ish, James, he had this big bag with him where he kept his weed, and he pulled out this huge bong, like this massive fucking bong. I've never seen anything bigger than it before. It was like, I was like, how much weed are we smoking, inside of my head? But hey, whatever. I was trying to keep up with the guys. That's also some keeping up with the guys. I mean, they were drinking, I was drinking, smoking, all sorts of stuff. So that was my mindset going in. Anyway, so as he pulls out this bong, he was like, "Hey, you guys want to smoke some DMT?" And I was like, "What's DMT?" Oh, I was a little scared because I was like, "Hey, what is that?" So then he explained a little bit of it, but he was like, just go ahead and smoke it. And I was like, "All right, whatever," because I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to be one of the guys. I'm like, "All right, fuck it, DMT, what's it gonna do to me?" Like that kind of thing. So he takes his first hit and he's passing the bong around, and it finally gets to me. And so, I'm trying to be all ballsy and stuff, so I light it up. And I took the biggest hit I've ever taken from anything before, which might be a regret, not sure. Anyway, I light it up. I took like I said, biggest hit of my life, and immediately, transported. I was like, whoosh, insane. I was like, all around me, all I could see were just these colors and shapes. But the thing about the shapes was that they were unimaginable. And that's what was crazy. The shapes that I was picturing and the colors were things I couldn't dream of ever seeing. It was really hard. It's really hard to explain, but it was mesmerizing in a way, and also with the colors and the shapes, the sounds, and I felt these vibrations around, so it was all kind of moving. And what I didn't tell you before was that DMT, in order to experience the full thing, you have to take 3 hits. So after the first hit, and after I was seeing all these colors and shapes, he passed the bong back around, or they passed the bong back around. And they were like, "All right, second hit." And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can take another hit. And he was like, come on, just go. So me being who I was like, all right, let's go. So anyway, light it up. Second hit, it was almost more explosive than the other one. It was like all the colors and things turned into this giant tunnel. This tunnel where I didn't know where I was. And at that point in time, I had lost sense of time, who and where I was. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel my legs, my hands. I didn't know what in the world was happening, but it was just so I was paranoid a bit because I lost sense of absolutely everything. And by that point, the bong had made it back around. And I was like, I can't. All I remember is that took another hit. That third hit, the tunnel kind of like disappeared, but instead of the tunnel, maybe it didn't disappear, but it just like opened up to the color, some of the colors coming back. But with the colors, there were these faces. They didn't they looked like people, but they didn't look like people because they didn't have the certain characteristics that we put with people's faces, but I knew they were people, and they were kind of like encroaching in on my space, and it was just like almost blinding with how the colors and the faces were kind of like all meshing together. It was really really hard to explain. And then after a while of that, it just it also felt like a lifetime. I felt like I was in it forever. Like I thought at least 10 hours had gone by, and then that was when I started feeling things again. Like I was able to materialize things again. My hands were coming back, my legs were coming back. I could feel the chair that I was sitting in. I could see what was happening. Like the floor was back, the table was back. And when that happened, it was like this feeling of peace just like kind of washed over me, because before I was, a little paranoid because I didn't know what was happening. Like I didn't see anything, and as I was able to start feeling like where and who I was again, it was just peaceful. And so I sat back in my chair after I like came to, and I was blinking. I opened my eyes, and I remember specifically looking over at James on the right, and he was just smiling. He was just smiling at me. And I was like, how long have we been here? And he started laughing. It's about 10 minutes. And I said, 10 minutes? I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. But Paige, I remember looking over on the other side of the table, and she was kind of freaking out from it. I'm not exactly sure like what her experience was, but I just knew something wasn't totally right. And at that point in time, I was like, all right, I think it's time to wrap it up. So we said goodbye to everyone, and Paige, she was almost already out the door by the time I was saying goodbye to everybody. And so we ended up leaving, going home, and that was pretty much it. So that was my experience with DMT. But kids, don't be like me and try and hang with the big boys. Don't try drugs that you don't know. That's all I'm going to say. So tune in next time to another story time with Chrissy.